Times for a change. See, the look I've had can make a good man turn bad. So please, 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 let me get what I want this time. Haven't had a dream in a long time. See, the life I've had can make a good man bad. So for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows it would be the first time. Lord knows it would be the first time.
And for Kenny Glick Trivia Night, that's my fifth favorite song. What's my favorite song, you ask? White Rabbit, Jefferson Airplane. But a close second, or in the top five, is that song. That would be Please, Please, Please by the Smiths, one of the best 2-minute songs ever written. And it's also the story of my life. So the story of my life is I've got a trade that works every time, and you shouldn't take any other trades. And I proved my point by suggesting or allowing you to witness what I'm going to do on that Rambus trade as I walk through a trade that nobody should have been taking. As I was walking through it, I consistently said, this is not going to work. This is the dumbest trade you could possibly do. And I gave you 95 reasons not to take the trade. Now, why did I take the trade? Fear of missing out. Because I didn't want Rambus to break all-time highs on their earnings report with me not having some. So I bought one contract just to prove my point. So before we go any further, hold on a second. Hello. Hello again, and we're back. All right. So if you heard that song really means a lot to me. Not only is it a great song, but I don't usually get what I want. As a shorter, of course, I'm always looking for the market to crash, and we're trapped in a perpetual bull market, but that's okay. I've made a couple of declarations today, and yesterday was a big, big moment for me in my life. And I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. I have sworn off shorting the Qs, right? The ironic nature of my life is that we probably will have a substantial sell-off soon, but that's again, we'll have more of a conversation about that as we go on. But the ironic nature of my life, as you know, I'm a long-suffering Jets fan. I'm also a sports gambler, and my whole life I've been betting against the Jets. And yeah, I've made some money, but you never really wanted to go aggressively heavy betting against the team that you really want to see win. It's called emotional hedging. So you'd bet a couple of hundred. It kind of like dulls the pain of watching this awful franchise for 51 years. And you make a little bit of money. But do you really want to get aggressive, sitting there literally rooting against your team? Well, I stopped betting against them because it just took the joy out of everything. And then last week, I declared that I don't think I could be a fan anymore. And what happens? The second best Jet game in the history of the franchise happens. That's what happens. That's my life. I didn't even watch the game. So you guys know my history about shorting the Qs. I've been trying to put a number on it. Let's roughly say 20 mil. Real number. 1999 was getting killed short in the market because I didn't understand. I just saw stocks that were going up in 300% increments. I just thought it was going to end poorly. It did, but I took some lumps even then. And then my mentor saved me and my life by explaining to me what the dash for trash was. My mentor's name was Isaac, and he was part owners of the company that I worked at. And he saw what I was doing because he was one of the owners. And he's like, "Oh, I see you getting crushed short in this market. You're gonna get paid." He's like, "Let me show you what's going on in the underbelly." And he showed me a huge amount of stocks, bulletin boards, small caps, just some illiquid bullshit that he's been trading since the 70s and the 80s. And he said, "See these stocks here? They never move. They never do anything, and they're all ripping higher. The market's going to crash any day now." And he explained it to me that when the only stocks, and again, we had kind of stalled out, and the only stocks that were rallying were the dirtiest, doggiest garbage on earth. Kind of like what 2025 is all about. That's why I got bearish, and I've been wrong. And then I got bearish again, and I was wrong. And then I got bearish again, and I was wrong. Luckily, UVXY is always there to remind me that I'm wrong about shorting. But suffice it to say, after taking that monster win in 2000/2001, I've given back that money times 20. So roughly about $20 million losing on the QQQ. Real number. So why am I still here? How am I still doing this? Because every other trade works. And I've supplemented my addiction by taking trades that work. And now we've got a trade that works every single time it shows up. Not once in a while, every single time. Every single time it shows up, it works for a profitable trade. So yesterday, as I was explaining this Rambus trade, right? Loving Rambus, right? Everybody's in it from, if you guys met me at Raging Bull, from, one of the early faux show bros, the early Kardashian bottom, Andy Dufresne. I was explaining to you guys back in 2020. Love me some Rambus, the unloved chip stock that nobody even knew existed, coming out of a 20-year malaise, just awful, right? If you guys remember, 20-year chart coming out, Andy Dufresne. Last time I saw a chart that looked like this was AMD at $5, and you know what happened to AMD. So I bought some Rambus, and everybody was getting paid, and we got paid really nicely. And then I wound up selling it. I bought it back at 40, and it's just chopping around. I got bored, and I just sold it, and then it exploded without me. Typical. So last night, I'm looking at this 26-year chart, and I'm thinking, wow, In this market, if this stock breaks all-time highs, it legitimately could double from here. And I'm not joking. Still think it could happen, right? So here's the dilemma. By the way, if you're in the Beyond Meat trade, yes. Sold 235. Now we're looking for 243 and 250. Only live trade some of us have on right now, or me personally. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. Don't worry about me. Just loving the Beyond Meat. But I want to show you this anatomy of the Rambus trade. You guys following? You guys with me? You guys in the Beyond Meat trade? All right, before I go into this Rambus story, let me tell you about the Beyond Meat. So we love ourselves some earnings reversals, right? We love ourselves some earnings reversals, the trade that works every time. But when you don't have an earnings reversal, you should have a go-to list. Qs, UVXY, the quantum stocks, space rockets, robots, Open, OPEN, USAR, UUU, and whatever pump and dump is in play. A couple of weeks ago was FLWS. There's always another one. Today, in the last couple of days, or about a week and a half now, it's been Beyond Meat. Going to zero, but that's the theme of 2025, the dash for trash that never ends, right? Remind me to get back to that story, dash for trash, QQQ, and Rambus. So because the stock continuously pays me, I have it on watch, always on the watch list until the volume dries out. And you see here, there's the faux show, bro, VWAP break, 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. I would have loved to bid in that trade. Wasn't. So then it did the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal again. Missed it. But then I was like, you know what? Breaks over 2 gets you 212. Okay, cool. Missed it. Then it double bottoms at the price where I wanted to buy it in the first place. Buy it. 3-cent risk. Getting paid. Not bad. Anyway, but as long as there are faux show bros and VWAP breaks, you could trade anything as long as there's some decent volume. So let's talk about the Rambus trade. Some of us are in this trade from years ago, so today really wasn't that significant. If you just learned of Rambus a couple of weeks ago, today's not that significant because pretty nice run from 89 to 120 or 114.55. But let's say you just heard one part of the conversation. This is why I continuously it's why I'm talking a lot. When I was describing this trade, I was saying, and it was perfectly clear, this is the dumbest idea that you can do in trading. There is no worse trade other than selling naked calls on the Qs. Selling naked calls on the Qs, worst trade there is. The next trade, buying options into an earnings report. So why? First, you're guessing. Nobody has an advantage. You don't know how the stock's going to react to the earnings. You don't know what they're going to say. Stop right there. You're guessing. Secondly, you're overpaying for the option by generally 20 or 30%, because when are options the most expensive? Raise your hand. Anybody know the answer? When are options the most expensive? At 4 p.m., right before an earnings report comes out. That's the most you'll ever pay for an option. The day before, or the moment before they report, that's the most expensive. So you're paying the most expensive, you're taking the most expensive option trade on a guess. You're a loser. Third reason you're a loser is that even if you're right, you got to compensate for how much you got ripped off on that option trade yourself. 3, you're a 3-time loser. So why do the trade? Exactly. Don't. So why did I do it? FOMO. I put all that aside and I said, you know what? I'll buy a 105 for 8. I'll sell me I bought a 115 for 8, which is ridiculous. But then I sold some upper strikes to help pay for it, called the call spread. And right now, the call spread is only down 200. I did a 1 for 2. Basically bought the 115 and I sold 2 155s. So now I'm down $355.34. That's it. Stock could go to zero. And this option play would I'd be down $507.50. Right now, I could take the loss and just close out the trade. But wait a second. But what do we do for a living? What's the trade that never fails? I'm glad you're asking. The trade that never fails is buying the stock after the earnings come out, when you actually have a feel for what's going on. Good or bad earnings, doesn't really matter. You're just seeing the action. And it was decisively down. Nobody wanted to own Rambus last night. Getting hammered. I didn't even see this part till later that night, because last I checked, the stock was at 107. I was like, all right, cool, it's not so bad. And then it was at 88. So this morning I walked in, I'm thinking, hey, under 88, I'm probably going to look for that faux show, bro, to buy it. But it had already pivoted off to that price. And there's the VWAP break at 91 if you were up at 4 o'clock in the morning for some reason. And you missed that move, right? Then you got a faux show, bro, at 7:35. Most of us were awake. Buy it. But more importantly, why? Why does this trade work so well, right? First of all, the market's rigged, okay? No doubt, 100% rigged, pre-programmed. So once they get the sellers out of the way, we come in and play the rigging of the market. And what is the rigging of the market? Gap down stocks will be bought. Why? Schmucks like me that are going to dollar cost average, right? But more importantly, the shorter psychopath shorting a tech stock at all-time highs going into an earnings report, they got paid. Good for them. So they shorted Tesla last night because it's a rational trade. Shorting a stock that already rallied 40 points into the earnings report actually did make sense. Obviously, long story short, it did work. But how do the shorters who shorted it for the short-term trade take their profit? Good question. They cover. That's how they take their profit. So that's buying. And then you got dollar cost averaging people. That's buying. And then you got algorithmic buying that happens at VWAP. That's buying. So there's going to be 3 reasons to buy it the next day. No matter what the numbers were, good or bad, where you think the stock's going to be a year from now, irrelevant. What are you doing about it now? So right after you got done saying to yourself, oh man, that was some shitty call, Kenny. Was it? Was it a shitty call? Considering I prefaced it by saying this won't work. Was it a shitty call? I guess in theory it was, because we bought an option at 8 and they went to 2. Shitty call. Stock plummeted from 114 to 88 bucks. But again, it wasn't the stock we were buying. We were just buying a 115 call for 8 bucks. Prefaced by me reminding you over and over again, it probably won't work. It's a terrible idea, but I'm doing it anyway. And then fast forward to this morning. Oh my freaking God. I missed the first entry. I missed the second entry. But then you got yourself a faux show, bro, VWAP break on a stock that you're already in, you're already liking it, and now it's doing the setup that doesn't fail. Buy it. And I didn't because I was just doing something else. And then I finally bought it when it broke that pre-market pivot. I chased it at 99.98. Wham! Right to 102.50. Option trade, paid for. Rambus, profitable trade now. And then look what happened. It comes back to test the VWAP as if to say, Kenny, you really wanted to buy it, didn't you? Well, now we'll give you another chance to buy it cheaper. with a new faux show, bro, VWAP break on an earnings report on a stock that you already like. Please buy this. And I don't know if you did or you didn't. Faux show, bro, VWAP break. And Kenny, do you think it's going to get to the orange line? Well, algorithmically, that's what usually happens. And considering the market's rigged, there probably is a good chance that it's going to get to the 107.73. My name's Kenny Glick. I have a trade that works every time it shows up. The hard part, I would say, if you want to call it the hard part, is not doing anything else. Hey, what do you think the Qs are going to do for the next 6 months? Who gives a shit? What about this VWAP, Kenny? It's going to 0. So on November 1st, I will be free of the market. So if anybody needs to know, all we do now is trade earnings. That's what we do now. I don't know what you guys do, but that's what I'm doing. I'm done losing money shorting the Qs. I knew I'd lose buying an option into an earnings report. I'm basically, if I had to do some math, I'm roughly 3 for 975 over the last 20 years. It's not a great track record. Here's another hint. Most traders know exactly what they're doing wrong. For me, it's everything else other than this trade. I can't own a stock. I can't swing trade. I can't buy stock. I can't buy earnings reports going into earnings. I can't sell puts on naked puts. Can't do naked calls. Short strangles don't work. Call spreads obviously don't work. Nothing works for me. Oh, good thing I have a trade that works every single time. So I'm going to stick to that. So when you hear me talking about some other shit, ignore it. But please take it under advisement. When I say this is the dumbest trade you could possibly do, don't do it. Do the trade that works, coming in and buying the dip at blue line, selling at orange line for a 16, 17 point trade. That's how you make money in the market. Sure, the Qs never go down. The market never goes down, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there'll be a sell-off one time. So let's go back to that conversation. The ironic nature of my life. I'm done. I'm done shorting the Qs. It's ruined me. It's taken at least $20 million of my money over the last 30 years, at least. But it's done far worse damage than even monetarily, because it's taken me away from the trades that I should have been doing all those times. So now I'm crossing it off the list. I will never short the Qs ever again, unless it's a full-blown 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Then I'm required by law. And good thing you don't typically see too many 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversals on the Qs. You know why? Because the market never goes down. You see how it all comes back together there, Jimmy? Right? Stocks go down. Market never goes down. So before we dive into a conversation about where the market's going to be and tomorrow and the next day, none of it matters. Stay focused right now. And let's take a moment together and stay focused. We have a trade that works every single time. Nothing else matters. And that trade is all about VWAP, and it'll guide you and help you and hopefully save you like it saved me, not just my career, my life. So let's just take a moment and embrace the horror. Breathe in the VWAP. And breathe out the call spreads. Breathe in the VWAP. And breathe out buying options into earnings reports. Breathe in the VWAP. and breathe out everything else. This is the way. Ladies and gentlemen, this trade hasn't failed in 4 years. I have lost my way and I have found myself. And if you'd like to find yourself in Vegas at the end of February, well, I will be doing a VWAP revival tour. Join me in Vegas as we have the time of our lives at the Day Trader Symposium. And if you've not been converted by February, hopefully you will be. And it'll be the only thing that you ever do. And VWAP not only can guide you through day trades like nothing else, but can also, as you expand your horizons into the VWAP world, you will see that you can use it on multiple time frames for your swing trades and your investments if you choose to do that. I will choose not to. I have a trade that works every time. It shows up multiple times a day, and you can make more money on these trades than any other trade I've ever seen. And I refuse to do anything else ever again. So on November 1st, I will be selling the V-Wave, the SRAD, the Clove, and probably sell the VICR as well. That is my portfolio. I might hold the UVXY short because it always goes to zero. I might as well just hold it. But I will be in probably 99.7% cash or 100% cash. And I will now make a concerted effort to never swing trade, own a stock, sell a call, buy a put, anything. I am only taking this trade because it works every time. And even when that streak breaks, I'm sure this trade will continue to be working at an enormously successful win rate. And that's what I'm going to do. So if anybody needs to know, what do I think about SRAD and V-Wave and Clove? I don't care. I literally don't care. And I don't want to care. I just want to stay focused. Look how many trades that were awesome today, right? And by the way, this is a real list, right? So let me give you the list. Each morning, we have a list of go-to trades, right? Obviously, Rambus, right? You ready for this? Are you? Are you ready? Are you? It's a serious question. Are you ready for this? So, right, if you've been keeping the streak from the last 4 years ago, we're at 1,156 now in a row for the last 4 years. But if you just started the streak with us a couple of weeks ago, we're 38. 38 trades in a row off this setup. And how many times did it show up today? Well, give me the names. Give me the names. You give me the names, and I will show you the trades. Ready? Give me some names. Who reported earnings today? All right, I'll give you the names. UNH. So what's our default? What's the trade that works every time? Is the stock gapped up? Check. What are we looking to do? Short it. Did it break VWAP? Yes. So it breaks the VWAP, breaks that little pre-market going there. Pre-market pivot. Pre-market pivots. Getting smoked. Where does it go? Orange line. Blue line, 380. Orange line, 368. 200 shares, that's $2,400. And then it cratered some more, and then it got stopped out inevitably. That's why I'm just saying blue line or orange line on an earnings report. Blue line, orange line, 12-point trade, 200 shares, that's $2,400, Holmes. Okay. You guys heard of UPS? Sure you have. Monstrous move. Incredible move to the upside. Completely rigged, right? Big stock, reports earnings, pre-market. Coincidentally, just stops at a whole number. It's only a coincidence, right? Not, that's sarcasm. The market's rigged, right? Hits the 109. Kenny, is it still safe to short it? Is it breaking VWAP from a place of strength? Then short it. 101.71 gets you down to 96. 200 shares, $1,000 right there. But Kenny, I see it rallied. Yeah, and you would have got stopped out at the prices that it pivoted from. But then look what happened. So let's say you're not trading pre-market. That pre-market activity gives you a heads up of what's going to happen next. You saw some selling pre-market. Okay. Why not look for a reason to short it again? Is it still gapped up? It is. Let's say you shorted the open. You immediately got paid. But let's say you're nervous still to trade the open. It's very aggressive. You better be right, because if you're wrong, you're getting hammered. So you wait. And you stick to your default. I'm shorting stocks because they're gapped up. Now you need your confirmation. The confirmation is the little roll. Breaks a new high, rolls over, tests it, rolls again, and then it breaks the lows. 97. Now your target in this case was 94. But at 97, what happens when you get to 95? Did you get to 95 right here? No, 95. Wait, where was that 90? Didn't it hit 95 to the penny? Oh, it hit 95.11. Sorry, it got so very close. See, in this trade, yeah, your target was the orange. But the way we trade, if you're making money on a trade, especially on a short, because you know they're short-lived and you're going to die, you're taking profit. So right now, this trade is basically almost done because you're going to have to cover because you never, ever let a stock go against you as a shorter, especially in this market, because you're going to die. So your stop's right there. And right now, the UPS shorters are still short because they've taken profit and now they're just holding this, what we could call the jiggle or the shuffle. All right, next. You guys know about Carnival Cruise Line? I'm sorry, RCL. How you doing, right? RCL, again, no one's up at this time in the night. Traded right there, blah, blah, blah. Earnings are out, right? Stocks gap down on earnings. So what are you looking to do? You're looking for a reason to buy. And what reason do you need to buy stocks? Faux show, bro, VWAP break. Fake them out, shake them out. Again, this is a better one. But even this is the one, and then there's the one. So you see when it breaks a new low, then it comes back, then breaks VWAP, that's the trade. And then let's say you didn't do this one, and then it does this. So right there. So, and this is what's so awesome about this trade. So let's say you're in the Rambus, you're in the Beyond Meat. Next thing you know, you're in the some other thing. What I want you guys to do is I want you to walk through the charts. Hey, let's go check what RCL's doing. Oh, look, it just did that thing. Let's buy it. Just kind of like how I stumbled onto the Beyond Meat. I'm always watching it. And I was like, oh, I missed it. Oh, I missed it. Oh, you know what? It just double bottomed at 212. I'll give it a shot. Got paid and just got stopped out at 225. And look where it went. You think it's a coincidence it went right back to the same exact price? It's all rigged. All of it. Right? So give me some more lists. And by the way, some of the fellas in the room are short the cues right now. These psychopathic, delusional people that think the market's actually going to go down today. But right now, the market's telling you that there's a chance we could actually go down. UVXY is above 10. And look what the market's doing. And again, these red lines were where some of our trades were being put today. Again, I'm not shorting the cues. I have sworn off it. But let me show you why. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It's a slight little downtrend. But more importantly, the faux show, first bro, you would have got wiped out. The second faux show never broke VWAP. The third faux show, bro, couldn't really get even above where you were. So again, I'm not shorting the cues because I'm just done shorting the cues. But there have been some slight little wins if you're just trading it, accordingly. And that probably now is new. That's probably new generational lows. And the only reason that people are still showing the cues is that we had an anomaly print this morning. And we're all so damn curious to see if it gets there. The anomaly print is the prior day VWAP. So these delusional psychos that are actually shorting the Qs today are just looking for that 2 points. That's all you're going to get. It's not like the market goes down anymore. So if you get 2 points to the downside on the Qs, that's probably going to be it. But let's focus on trades that work. So the only other trade that I did this morning, other than Rambus, was SoFi short. Now, again, I was very passionate about this trade because my father owns it, and he didn't even know they reported earnings. Typical. I just called him. I was like, "Hey, you know your stock did an earnings reversal?" He's like, "Should I buy more?" It's always his response. But I, as the shorter in the family and the loser, I look to short stocks. So let's go to the checklist, right? And by the way, anomaly print, that I don't think that print actually happened, but I can't vouch for it. It looks like an anomaly print. Suffice it to say, let's go through the checklist. Is the stock gapped up? Yep. Has it run into the report? Stock's up over 100% going into this earnings report. Is it susceptible to short? Yes. Do we short stocks because we think they're going down? No. Is it breaking VWAP? Yes. Short it. VWAP break. Tops of these candles were our stops. Blue line to orange line. Immediately got paid. But then we thought the trade was over because it started to rally against us. And we were using VWAP at the time as our out. And then it rolled. And then you got the one that we sing songs about. The 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. And if you don't know the song, let's all sing it along. Let's all sing along. It goes to the tune of 10 Little Indians. You ready? And if you don't know the lyrics, here they are. It's the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. The only trade you ever have to take. Now, one more time with feeling. It's the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Tell Goldman Sachs suck a ball. Hey, 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Get it? Trade works every time. We even have a song about it. It's the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. And the trade hasn't failed in over 4 years. It is absolutely insane. So I'm using the 1 minute. It's the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. So what's the reversal part? The reversal part is when the stock actually goes from green to red. And that triggers people to sell because nobody wants to see the gap. Yay, they reported great earnings. Oh, why is the stock going down? Sell it. That gap reversal is super bearish because people will sell the reversal. We're shorting it way up here because of a VWAP break, a multi-day VWAP break, then it went red. So we're in the 1 minute in the multi-day, and then it goes red. You're getting paid some more. And I got stopped out on the way up here. Sure, I left some money on the table, but then what happens? Then you remind yourself that, wait a second. Penny was saying something about how the market never goes down, shorting is short-lived, and they're going to die. All right, cool. So if the shorters are getting ready to die, help them make their decision. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. It worked. Past tense. Now the shorters are saying, you know what? It's coming out of that bottom range. That's the fake out, shakeout, fake out, shakeout, and then test the shakeout area from there. Not only should you not be short anymore, but you cover and your savvy ass is getting long and you revert right back to the 1 minute in the multi-day. How you doing? You're doing fine. And all of this is just one wonderful morning. And as SRAD hits in the low of the day, I'm getting stopped out of that piece of shit. I will not own this stock. I plan to own the stock for the next 5 years. I could care less. I'm dumping a lot of it today. By November 1st, I will be free and clear of all stocks, because if you haven't witnessed what Rambus just did into earnings, I don't want to sit through earnings reports with me being in. Even Clove, I don't want to be involved. If it starts ripping without me, I could just trade it that day like I did Rambus. I'm selling V-Wave. I'm selling SRAD. I'm selling Clove. And still debating about the VICR because it's not my idea. See, that idea came from somebody else who's awesome. I stink at owning stocks, but they tell me that the stock's going to 120, so I'm probably going to hold on to that one. I don't want to ruin the trade for anybody, but I only got 300 shares, so it'll probably work. If I had a couple thousand, none of this would be happening. All right, I'm going to get a cup of coffee. We'll have some questions and answers, and then I'm going to go, because that's another thing I'm going to start doing. Hit it, quit it, and live up to the saying, make a day's pay and go away. Oh, by the way, while we're sitting here, let me just introduce you to my new two friends. Leroy the 19th has arrived. That's Leroy the 19th. And his friend Spike over there. So since the 5th grade, when my buddy Leon bought me Leroy the 1st, it's a black moorfish named Leroy. They usually last like 2 years sometimes. So I only buy this one fish, and I usually get him a little friend to clean the tank, the little algae eaters or the catfish. And Leroy the 18th was a robust friend. He lasted for close to 2 years. And now we're on to Leroy the 19th. Welcome to the family. I'm very regimented in my ways. So if you'd like to learn more about a trade that hasn't failed in 4 years, and we've been doing it religiously, I've been doing the earnings reversals since I first started trading. It was one of the first trades I learned, and it made sense to me. I get it. When earnings reports came out and they were good, I was always confused. Why is the stock going down? I didn't get the concept of profit taking and market mechanics and, selling the news and all that stuff. That's why the trade makes a lot of sense. Profit taking on a gapped up stock on earnings that has already ran into the report, there's going to be some profit taking. And on the flip side, stocks that are down on the earnings reports, sometimes it's just an overreaction. The short has got a little bit overzealous. Dollar cost averaging, people show up. You get yourself the faux show and the bro. So that's why these trades continuously work, because they've been working for 30 years. Now with VWAP and algos kicking in to help us, we can't be stopped. And the only time you lose money is shorting the market for any extended period of time and buying options into earnings reports and doing call spreads and naked puts and naked calls. And basically everything else. So it's taken me, and this is a real live moment that we're all sharing here together. And I'm glad we could share this moment together. And I'm glad and I'm happy and I appreciate everybody that's ever been with me and ever came to my chat and will listen to me talk. I do a much better job helping other people than helping myself. You've heard the story about the UVXY. I'll be digging out of that hole for probably 4 years. No joke. Absolutely annihilated myself. And I was ready to quit. But I knew that I just go right back to the earnings reversals. It'll take me some time, but I'll make the money back. So now there's a saying from the movie, what's the one, Citizen, Law Abiding Citizen. One of my favorite movies of all time. Lessons learned not in blood, are easily forgotten. I've learned my lesson in blood. The QQQ short trade, enough. Enough. Doesn't work. Owning stocks for me, other than the Qs, doesn't work. Selling naked calls, obviously the worst trade you could ever do. Call spreads, terrible. Selling puts, you could do it 10 times in a row and they all work. That 11th trade that doesn't work, you get smoked. I'm only doing trades that work every time now. And that's it. And so if anybody needs to ask me, hey, what do you think about this stock? I don't. You want to own stocks? QQQ. That's it. So if now going back to the ironic nature of my life, I've owned Clove for over a year now. I do think it's getting taken over. So the moment I sell it, you should buy it. Not joking. Because just like that Jets game, the first time I don't watch a Jets game, they have the greatest comeback, second greatest comeback in their franchise history. I'm not joking. I think this stock Clove is getting taken over. I'm selling it anyway because I just want to be free. I want to be free to do what I want to do. Oh, that's VWAP. So I don't care about news or my cousin or anybody else. I don't care about analysts. None of that. Nothing ever will compete with this trade. Plus, it takes the guesswork out of the trade. Is this breaking this price right now? Yes. Buy it. Is it breaking this price this time? Sell some. Raise stop. That's it. So it's the simplest trade to understand. It works basically every time it shows up lately. It's limited risk for massive rewards. I don't need to own stocks. I don't need to swing trade. I don't even need to have those conversations anymore. And I apologize that I do because I tend to talk about other things. I don't even want to talk about other things anymore. This trade works, and that's all we're talking about. So if you ask me one more time, do I really think the Qs are doubling from here? Absolutely. 100%. I think you're going to see 1,200 on the Qs within 3.5 years. Easily 1,000. What's that matter to anybody in here? Right. Nothing. So maybe one day when this market starts to, have a little volatility, I'll short the Qs again. And again, I'm not going to say I'm not going to short the Qs ever again. Obviously, if today was going to turn into, and again, there was a moment there where it looked interesting, right? You got the 1 minute, you broke lows, you got back to the VWAP, started to roll over, but we don't go down. The market's programmed to not go down anymore. I don't know what to make of it, but if you want to tack on 100% in a year, I've seen it happen. I guess it's going to happen again because right now we're only 170 points away from going up 100% from April. I've never seen it happen in eight. And then again, I think the Qs doubled in like 9 months. If I'm not mistaken, 98, some mid 98 to 99, I think it actually did double. But who cares, right? I'll show you some more trades today. So now this trade, right? And again, I came in very excited to short this stock because to me, this is one of the most worthless stocks in existence next to that Newegg, which was my favorite short of the year from when it went from 100 from split adjusted 0 to 138. I'm glad it worked. And Oracle short, my second favorite short of the year. What's my point? I don't have a point. Shorting something or other. Hang on a second. You really can't short stocks. But yeah, so this car, right? Completely worthless. Absolutely worthless. This stock is split adjusted. It's garbage. It should be at zero. Whether that's my opinion or whatever, who cares what my opinion is anymore, right? Bottom line, it was up on earnings, and I was hoping to see it up at 178. By the way, an illiquid piece of garbage stock after earnings report in the aftermarket coincidentally went to a whole number, right? Just a coincidence. Coincidentally stopped at 145 on the downside too early this morning. Just a coincidence. That's sarcasm if you're not catching on. The entire market's pre-programmed and rigged. So because it was that low already when I walked in this morning, I really wasn't enthusiastic about shorting it. And here comes the big but. But if the trade that you wanted to do gets reconfirmed by the VWAP, take the trade. So what do I mean? What I mean is it broke VWAP. Now, again, if your default is to look to short, you're waiting for the roll. So it breaks the VWAP. You're like, oh, okay. And then it rolls. Great, short it. 154. And now you're using the 156 as your out. Clearly define your trade. It pops back in your face. You're not scared because your stop's right there. And then it rolls again, and you get paid 6 points. The trade keeps replicating itself like Wayfair, right? No one in their right mind should own this stock. It's not even a real company. I don't care about the interview you saw on CNBC. This is a scam company. Garbage, worthless, piece of shit. Absolutely ridiculous that this thing still exists, in fact. Just my opinion. So I came in looking for a reason to short it, right? And, I wasn't there for that little blip. But when I saw that, I was like, ooh, let's assume I did short the VWAP break, 94, and it went to 92.5. That's a profitable trade. But that's the faux show, bro. So the savvier you get, you will understand that, okay, our default's to short stocks that are gapped up on earnings. All right, we got the reason it happened, but then it rallied right back above VWAP. You have to cover because you do not want to be on the wrong side of the faux show, bro. So when you saw that happen pre-market, I was telling people I might be a little afraid to short this one. Let's wait to see if what they do here and explodes, holds the VWAP on the way back. And guess what? The short never really materialized to the point where it tested the VWAP and gave you a chance to buy it again. So you put that default trade on hold and you do what the market's telling you. That's why when I tell you VWAP has saved my life, I was ready to short this thing. But I won't even short VWAP breaks now. I want to see it break VWAP, test from underneath, then roll like our other trade on PayPal, where it came, if you missed the first one, it rallied back, tests it from underneath, and then rolls. You got a chance to short something with limited risk. SoFi, UNH, PayPal, UPS. We went to the GLW. Kind of dead-ish, right? But first reaction was down. Our default is to look to buy. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP retrace. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP retrace. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. A couple of long trades, not bad. And then one more, fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. 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 So you know the lyrics. The trade replicates over and over again. So if you stick with one or two symbols and trade that chart pattern, and by the way, that QQQ trade, right? Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. Nobody wants to be shorting the Qs, do you? No. Nobody short the Qs. And this is why I don't even bother anymore. I'm not shorting the Qs. I'm not shorting the Qs. And I'm never going to short the Qs until we get a VWAP break, multi-day VWAP break, test the multi-day from underneath, then roll over, then go negative. Maybe I'll short the Qs. And you know when that's going to happen? Never. That's when that's going to happen. Never. So that's what's going to keep me safe now. The setup that I will short the Qs needs to be a 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. When's the last time we got a 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal on the Qs? Never. No, I mean, it's happened like twice this year. So until that happens again, don't short the Qs. How about waste management? Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. Long trade. How about THC? Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP, jiggle. Not really doing too much. Actually, this might be an interesting buy. Consolidation. This is just called your jiggle or your shuffle. Kind of just the stock doesn't want to do anything. It's kind of just glued at VWAP. Not much going on there. DHI. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break. 1 minute to the multi-day. How do you like me now? Actually, this might be still good, a decent buy also because it hasn't gone green yet. But you see how it's the same chart, same pattern, and it continues to work. My name's Kenny Glick. I'll see you at the schmooze. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, email me. Thursday night should be a good one. We got a DJ coming in doing a Halloween set for us. And we'll talk a little bit more about all the faux show bros. We have 375 different companies coming out with earnings in the next 72 hours. Be there or be a rectangle. Rambus, we made 17 points on the faux show, bro. Yeah, it was fantastic. Paid for the option trade, everything. Faux show, bro. 1 minute multi-day. Phenomenal trade. Rambus, I cannot believe how well it worked out. Literally can't believe it. Especially seeing it at $88 last night. But still, VWAP, blue line, orange line, phenomenal.